Hey, how we doing today, YouTube? It's your boy Microlink. We're coming into you with some info today. Basically, I'm just gonna show you how to like mix and compress and like how I like my drums. Mostly for like hip hop rap. I do different things for electronic club depending on what genre. But besides the point, it's gonna be mostly for just hip hop, rap, trap, whatever you want to call it, R&B, whatever you're trying to make. How to make those drums really pop, you know. I decided to go real old school with it. So we got everything we got for the sounds are coming from a sampled, where is it? I believe it's the Roland Blackface 909 we're using today. No, it's the Roland TR-808 Blackface edition. Here's a little drum pattern I made. I'll play it for you. Oh, did not mean to. There we go. Hey. So there's two ways you can do swing. If you have FL Studio, you can turn this knob. Usually 20 to 30 is where I sit. We're going to do 30 for this one because I got a lot of hi-hat and shakers that can really be fucked with. So if you use just the knob right up here in order to change everything, what that's going to do is, if I'm correct, don't quote me on this one. If I remember correctly, it changes all the offbeat notes slightly. So it keeps your 1, 2, 3, 4s on quantize, and then it just switches everything else, which is really cool, right? Or you can do it this way. You can go into, I usually like to keep the snare on time. You can go into the sound sample itself here and click this little wrench icon. And then you should see this, time. Under time, there's 3 knobs. Just worry about the middle one. It should say shift. And all you gotta do is move that. It's gonna swing only that sound. So see, I put 2 on that. Let's do our maraca shaker. Let's do that 3. Our open hi-hat can be the same as the regular closed. All the hats will be the same number. We put that at 2. Oh, so we're gonna make all these a 2. And you know what? Let's make this one a 3 just so it sounds cool. We're gonna keep the snare normal and we're gonna move the kicks to a 1 second. So this added swing for all of it. The third way you can add swing, which this is the way I see a lot of people do, is either that or they go in and they'll manually switch notes. So I might take, let's see. I like to start with the hats. Let's take the claps. Let's take the closed hi-hats here. And let's take them off of loop. We're gonna highlight with holding control, click, drag. Now, while it's highlighted, Control B will just paste that same timing, so you don't have to worry about the lineup. Instead of just doing it with highlighting only notes, which will just put it directly where it can go. So like if I do this, see how it puts it there? But if I have a different timing, it'll be, believe me, that's easier. So anyway, now we take everything that's not on the 1 or the 2. Right, just like this. And then we can just go in here and literally just whoop. This is what I love about production, and specifically FL Studio, is that there's a bunch of different ways to achieve multiple different ideas. So anyway, we got some swing. How do these sound better? Because right now they sound kind of dull. First thing we're going to do, we have a shaker and a hat. Our shaker, pan to the right, 30%. Then we have a hat, right? Our hat is on channel 3. We go to channel 3, pan that, 30% to the left. Already you can hear it. It's more open. If you got headphones especially, you guys are going to hear this. After that, we go into our kick and snare, stay center. Always kick and snares are center. These hats, number 4, we're gonna pan to the right. A little farther, 40%, because let's do 35. They're more this way, and we'll bring the maracas down to 25 and the, yeah, so 25 for your hat, 25 for your shaker, 35 for the hi-hat. Now, that's beautiful. What's next? Well, next we're gonna do volume. So we're gonna take all this and we're just gonna lower it to 0. To do that, hold Control, click and drag. And then just while holding Control, you let go. And then just drag any of the note of the sounds. So anyway, normally these should all be labeled with names. Can I auto name these? That's something new that they added in a while ago that I don't use. No. So we're gonna rename this by right clicking rename. So we got kick, snare is number 2. 3 is our hi-hat. 4 is our open hi-hat. And this is maracas. Okay, cool. Now, we're going to play the beat, and we're just going to bring the most important thing up first, the kick. I like to put my kicks at 6. So, this one's actually a little quiet, which is fine. We have a couple ways to fix that. Let's do an easy way. So anyway, all right, we're at 9. That's fine. Now we're going to bring the snare. Okay, cool. A little quieter than the kick, but not much. Now we bring in our hi-hat. I like that about there. I like it to usually be half of the snare. Maybe a little more. Open hi-hat. And then maraca. We want the maraca and the open hi-hat to be even. So I just eyeball it. That sounds good. Okay, cool. Now the important part. Oh, I forgot to do this beforehand. Great lesson. Okay, when you're getting into mixing, the reason there's all right, so FL Studios puts an FL limiter on the master. The reason is so you don't blow speakers. It's you don't redline and accidentally destroy your equipment. You should always take this off if you know what you're doing. Now, with that in mind, if you're new and you want to mix really well, take that off and make everything quiet and don't let anything ever go over 0 on any of these meters and you're fine. You'll be fine. That's all. Just make sure they never go above this 0 on any of them. See, look, we go to kick. It's 9. Right now, our whole entire thing is a 6, which is good. We want our drums at a 6 for almost any genre. So we're going to highlight all these with that method I showed you earlier, Control Highlight. If you're not using FL, you can apply this to any DAW. All you got to do is just select all your channels and route them to 1. Now we can do this in FL by right-clicking this arrow down here at an open channel and clicking route to this channel only. Now, you'll see that these have a link only to that and not to the master. If I put it to the master, it's going to play both and be too loud. So we desync that. We're going to rename this drums so that, you know, we stay organized. Now, let's say you want to move it over, hit Alt and directional, and you can move it. So I like my drums at the back of the mix, the drum rack. Now, how do we get these sounding good? Okay, well, first, compression. Always use compression. We're going to keep it simple today. FL compressor. I'm going to put the threshold to... Our hats hit around 19. We're going to do -19 threshold so that it pops on everything. Make the attack. I like to start at 100 on attack, 100 on release. We're going to go medium for the type. And we're going to put the gain up by 3 to start. Okay. Now. Sorry. That's better. Oh, ratio. I like to start with a 4:1 for drums. Actually, 2:1. We'll start with a 2:1. And then we'll see where it is. So now, a little more gain. We really want to hear everything. Okay, cool. I'd say we don't want to hit 0. We want to stay around 6, so we'll do 3 gain. All right, so now we have all this set up, right? Our first goal is to pull the attack back until we feel like the kick and snare is too loud when it hits. So So as we increase the ratio, it increases the amount of volume that gets turned down as other things get turned up. I prefer the 2. If you notice, we get more out of the snare in the 2-to-1 than the 4-to-1. So now let's do before and after. Generally, I look for, I generally boost between 160, somewhere around there. I'd cut around 20 or 200. Gee, ooh. So what I would do with this EQ is I'd boost around 100, 60, 80. It depends on where that kick's hitting and what I really want out of it. We're going to take this number 1 and we're going to do a high pass at 30. Now, if we put in a sub, that would change to 50, and the reason is because your sub range is around 30 to 50, 30 to 80 actually, and your kick really pops around 50, but we're not going to do a sub here in this type of song. So we bring it out to there. I like that. Gives it a nice punch. We cut this because this 200 is where a lot of mud is. So by cutting this, it'll clean up those drums. I don't like that, so we leave that. Okay, maybe around 2. We'll drop this and raise this around 2K. And then we want to raise it around 10 to 15. Number 1, we're going to do a low pass. And this is kind of nitpickety. Or at 20K. This is just how I like to kind of blanket my drums with EQ. Perfect. Okay. Now, at this point, you can see we're hitting 0. So we're going to turn a limiter on to control the output. So we're going to lower this. We want our drums at 6. So once it goes to 6, -6, it'll activate the limiter. And then we drop the gain and bring it up. We don't want too much limiting. You'll see why. Look. See? There we go. Perfect. So now this should stay around 6. Sorry, we'll do 5/8. There we go. Now, if you notice, we're losing some of our attack. That means we put too much gain on the compressor. So if we dial that back, you hear how clarity happens? So we want it around a 3. That sounds good. We're getting all the elements. Yes. Okay. Doesn't look like we're doing a lot, but this all adds up. All right, so we did volume, we did panning, we did compression, EQ, and some limiting. What else? I mean, I like a little reverb and delay. That's just me. Is it the Lux reverb? This one? I think this is it. What is it? Room. Live drum room. Now, I haven't used this. Like I said, I have my own reverb that I normally use. I've heard good things about this. I like that. This just turns on and off how much we're using, so. Same with this. I like that. I like a little bit. All right, I like that right there. So now we'll do another before and after. Ready? So this is before. Like, still sounds cool. After. And that's with old school drums, you know what I mean? This is just what we're using from here. You could do this with default. Let me show you with like FL default. Hold on. Before. After. You can hear they sound more lively, fuller. We'll raise everything just a little. There we go. It just sounds so much better. That's how you do it. That's mixing drums with micro, a little bit of compression. You learned about routing. Just, you know, I really wanted to give you the full dive into the drums. We're going to have a super short version of this on TikTok, TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Otherwise, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. It was great chilling with you. Thank you.